Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is part 7 of the Command Block tutorial series, and last week I did not post, and that was because I did not get the time to record the video. But this week, of course, I will post for you guys. Also, I have a quick announcement. I now have a Discord. If you guys want to join the Discord, you can go ahead and join it. The link will be in the description. And the reason why I made this Discord is so that I can reach out to you guys and help you guys if you guys have any questions on command block creations. So if you guys want to head down to that Discord, you can go ahead. It's also just a support group. If you just want to support me a little bit, you can go ahead and join it. But you can also get a whole bunch of command block support there. I don't have many, or I only have one moderator, which is my co-owner, and that's my girlfriend. So if you guys want to sign up for moderator, you guys are able to. I'd gladly appreciate it. Let's get into the video. Okay, let's head inside of the lab. Okay, there's George. Hello, George.
Oh, hi. Where were you last week?
Yeah, about that. I kind of had some problems. I just couldn't get the time to record last week.
Oh, I can understand.
Thank you, George. Text with a space. Okay, let's head over to testing room E again. What are they doing? Okay, he seems normal. I'm not gonna question it. Let's just head in. So, this will be a long video if I don't get this over with, but I need to teach you three-dimensional graphing. So, let's grab a few building blocks here. I'm gonna grab some concrete and yellow and red. Those are gonna be my 2 points. Actually, let's do blue and red, because those are the signature colors. But we got three different building blocks here, and these are going to be our 2 points, the colored, and this will be our outline. Now, how does two-dimensional graphing work? Well, in Minecraft, we don't graph a square with all 4 points, because that's inefficient. Because if we know we're going to graph a rectangle or a square, we don't need 2 of the points, we just need opposite points. And the reason that is because to turn these 2 points into a square, we know that it's gonna look like this. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So graphing, if you've ever used, a great example is if you've ever used a painting program, they always have you drag a little tiny square to make a square bigger. That's what this is doing. It's grabbing the anchored point and the movable point, basically in a painting program. But you're specifying where those go. So we're gonna have this type of build if I grab this point and that point. Now, in a three-dimensional sense, we do the same thing. Oops. We do the same thing. But we do it with the Z coordinate or Z coordinate. So we basically, to think about it, we need to grab the complete opposite corner. So let's say I have a square. Or a cube, sorry. Like so. Doesn't have to be filled in. But this is my cube. Now, to create this with the fill command, or in a three-dimensional sense, we're going to need to grab the complete opposite corner. And the way we grab an opposite corner is by going opposite in all dimensions. There's 3 different dimensions here, because it's 3D. So we have X, Y, and Z. So we're going to grab this point. Just grab a random corner, any corner on the build. Now, to make this opposite, I'm actually going to grab a few more colors to make this easier. Bop. Okay. So to make this opposite, we're gonna start with the x. Now, x is this direction. So what would be the opposite of this corner on the x-axis? Well, just think of it in a 2D sense. It's going to be this corner. That's the opposite of that corner. As you can see, if we mirror it, it's going to be the same corner, but this is the opposite. Now, we're going to start with this corner and figure out the opposite of this corner on the y-axis. And the y-axis is up and down. So what would be the opposite of this corner? So forget about this. This is still our placement corner, but like pretend it's not there. Now we're gonna think, okay, the opposite of this corner. Well, it's gonna be up here, because if we mirror it on the y-axis, it's gonna be the opposite corner. Now we can go ahead and forget about that corner. Now we need to do the z, which is this direction. What's the opposite of this corner on the z-axis? Well, this. And then we can get rid of it. And ta-da! If we go ahead and place our first point back, 2 opposite corners. As simple as that. So basically, we just went opposite in all different directions. Or dimensions, sorry, not directions. And you start with x, go to y, and z. It's as simple as that. It's the same in the two-dimensional sense. We just grab the opposite corner. So let's say we have that. First, we're gonna start with x. Well, this is gonna be z, but we're gonna pretend it's x because it's on a two-dimensional plane. And the opposite of x, right there, and the opposite of y is right there. So we can get rid of that. 2 opposite points. As simple as that. And the better you get at doing that, and trust me, I know it seems like a baby way of doing it and a long way of doing it, but trust me, it will make your brain understand these shapes a lot better. It makes a lot more sense. So if I did a rectangle like this, and you'll start to get faster at it, and then you'll start to just not do it anymore, and that's okay, because that's where you want to be. So let's say I grabbed this first corner, okay, opposite of x, okay. This is a bad representation. I hate this corner. Well, it's gonna be right there. Okay, that's the opposite of x, and then opposite of y is gonna be right there, and then the opposite of z is gonna be right here, or z. And then we can fill up those, and now we have 2 of the opposite corners. Ta-da! So that is 3-dimensional graphing in Minecraft. Because we know we're not making a circle. So next is going to be the I'm going to be teaching you the fill command. Now that we know 3-dimensional graphing, we can actually do the fill command and the clone command. Also, we can do a Tickingarea command, even though that's 2-dimensional graphing in a 3-dimensional sense. I'll explain that a little later. So let's start with the fill command. It's pretty simple. Now, I'm not going to teach much because this video is going to be way too long if I teach a lot. So I'm going to do a quick overview of the fill components at the end. Because the fill command has a lot to it. I'll leave a link to the wikis for all these commands in the description, and you can study the little components of these commands. So if we go ahead and do /fill, now we need this red point. Now, a cool thing about command blocks is they tell you what block you're, a cool thing about the chat, that it tells you what you're looking at. So I'm just gonna stare at this red block, and then I go ahead and do /fill, and then it says X, Y, and Z. How do I know what X position, Y position, and Z position? It's displayed right here. It tells you exactly what block you're looking at right there. So I can just do 34, Okay, 6 and negative 30. There you go. That's the red block. And if you actually test that, if I break it and come up here, 1 up in that Y position would be exactly where I was looking. And we can do the same with this. Now, the way I save my commands, I have been asked this when I was teaching someone. You just press enter. It gives you an error message. And the reason why is because it's not complete. But if you press enter, you can just press up on the arrow key, and it will bring up the command, because that's how command history works. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and stare at the blue cube and do the same thing. 36, 4, and negative 32. So now we have our two opposite corners. What do we want to fill that in with? We're going to fill it with concrete. Well, I'm actually going to be in the middle of it, so I'm actually not going to fill it. Let me get out of the middle of it. So I want to fill this with concrete. Now it says tile data. You know what tile data is? It's the different colors. So if I wanted it to be 5, I think that's green. Yep. Yeah, we now have green concrete. But if you don't want that, we can just do 0. Bam, it fills it with white concrete. Now, there's different set things. So we're going to have to always specify tile data if you want to go to these components. Now, we have these few components, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain all of these. So in the wiki, it should explain all these. So, destroy, hollow, keep, outline, and replace. These are pretty simple. Destroy destroys all the blocks that are there. So if I did destroy, bam, destroys all the blocks that were there and replaces it with the block that you placed. Now, since I did concrete, it didn't do anything. But if I did concrete like 3, now it's a different color concrete. And that's a pretty cool effect. I might actually use that in the map of mine. So that destroys all the blocks. Then we have hollow. This one's pretty simple. If we go ahead and enter that, break it, it's hollow on the inside. Next we have a keep. Now what keep does is it keeps all the blocks that are there, but replaces the air. So if I do keep, in the middle, we're going to have the one thing. So if I actually break all the blocks that are there, and then I do the keep one, it fills in everything, but it keeps all the blocks that were there. That's pretty cool. Next, we have outline. Now, I'm not sure how this one actually works, because I think it's glitched. Pause! Okay, so in the video I said I don't understand outline. Well, I looked it up. Basically, it's the same as the hollow command, but it keeps whatever is inside of it. As simple as that. Instead of destroying everything inside of it. Okay, back to the video. As you can see, I don't know. It's just a normal fill command. I'm pretty sure it's meant to have the outline. So don't quote me on this. I've tried to figure out what this means. And I still can't figure it out. I'm pretty sure it's meant to look like this. It's meant to do something like that. You know, like have the outline. But I don't know. As much as I'm a command block tutorial person, I sometimes don't know things, okay? So I've never actually figured it out. Never have to use it in the first place, so that's okay. It probably does something else of what I'm thinking. Then there's replace. This one's the same as the keep one, but you can actually specify what you want to replace. So if I wanted to replace planks. Okay. Now I can replace some planks. So you just specify what you want to replace. And if I go ahead and place some planks in there, and then I place some gold, the gold won't change, but the planks will. Ta-da. So that's the replace command. So those are all the things quickly explained. I know I went through them really quickly, but they're very easy to understand. Those are just all the little component things. The reason why I don't go too in-depth with them are because if I do, this video is going to be very long. So I'm trying to get this out of the way. Okay, so the next thing is the clone command. Now, the clone command is very hard to understand. So if you guys do not understand this one, I get it. Even the wiki probably won't help you a lot. It never helped me when I was learning this command, but I figured it out over time. It took about a month to figure out. So if you guys are worried about this one, it's okay. Just take the time to think about it. So this is the only command in this video that I'm going to actually take time to explain a lot. So we need 2 points. I want to clone this structure that I just made over to here. Now, the way cloning works, we grab the 2 opposite points of the structure and pretend like we're filling this in. So we're going to grab this point and this point. And what that will do is grab everything within the cube that I just created. So pretend like you're doing the fill command, like this, grabbing the 2 points, and then selecting all of this. Like all of this is going to be a selection box. So that's what you're going to select. So what we're going to go ahead and do is type that into the clone command. So I'm going to do clone, and then the position I'm looking at, which is the gold, 36, 4, -28. And then I'm going to look at this second position and do 35, 5, -29. Now, we have our selection box. We just selected this build. And if you think of it, we just kind of filled it in. If I did the fill command right now to this build, it would fill in everything. That's good. That means I selected everything. So just pretend there's an invisible cube around this build, and we just selected it. So we have an invisible selection cube. So we selected our build. Now we need the destination, because it doesn't know where to clone it. Now this is where the clone command is so confusing, and I don't know why it's like this, but you have to forget these 2 points. Just forget about them. We have our selection box. Just think, okay, we have a cube. That's our selection. So let's go ahead and make our selection here. I'm actually going to make it a yellow because it's going to make a lot more sense in a second. Our selection's that size. As you can see, it's 2 by 2 by 2. Now, where are we going to paste this from? Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to think how I'm going to explain this. So, it's going to paste to the positive directions. Now, you're probably confused, and I know. So, it's going to paste positive on the X, Y, and Z coordinates. So if I go ahead and move this direction, that's positive. So if we go ahead and draw an arrow, it's going to paste, that's not a good arrow, there we go. It's going to paste over to that direction. And now what does that mean? Well, we know it's going to be from this side, one of these sides. So I'm actually going to I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So we know that it's going to paste towards that direction from the build. So we know it's going to paste from this side. Then we have the Y coordinate. Well, up is always positive, so we know that it's going to paste from one of the bottom corners right here. So we know one of these 2 corners are where it's going to paste from. Then we need the Z coordinate. Well, we know this direction is the positive direction. So it's going to paste over to that direction. So that is the corner that we're going to paste from. So to put it in perspective, basically, these are all the positive directions. That's positive X, that's positive Z, and that's positive Y. and we're going to paste this creation from this corner because that's positive x, positive z, positive y. So it's going to paste from here, and the creation will look something like this if we go ahead and rebuild it. That door is on backwards, but that's okay. That's how it's going to paste from that corner, this little corner. So if we know that, and I wanted to paste the build here, we could just place our build and then pretend, okay, so the door is going to be there, and that should make it fit, right? So it should be okay. So if we go ahead and type in these two coordinates, 35, 4, negative 34. As you can see, it clones to the positive coordinates. This is the most confusing thing, and I bet you guys got lost. And I know, it's so hard to explain. I'm probably going to do a tutorial on this specific subject later on, because this video is going to be absurdly long if I keep trying to tell or explain this to you guys. So I'm just going to leave it where it is. Okay, the next thing I'm going to teach you is ticking areas. Now, think of Minecraft and their chunks. Now, what ticking areas do are load non-loaded chunks. So in Minecraft, the world consists of 16 by 16 blocks, I think, of these chunks. And they make up the world. And this is how Minecraft runs so well, with like a huge open world, because they don't load all of the chunks in the world. That would be absurd, and your computer would be deep fried. But basically what a ticking area does is load these unloaded chunks. And what that means is if you have a command block creation inside of a unloaded chunk, it's not going to work because it's not loaded, and it's not running anymore. So if I had a repeating command block like this, and I wanted it to do something like effect at p with speed 1 true, and it does that, and it gives me my speed and crap. But now if I wanted to go outside of the chunk and like leave it and go far out, it won't work anymore. I don't have any way of showing that because I'm not going to leave the laboratory, but you get what I mean. And I'm just going to break that. Let me get a bucket of milk. So that is where ticking areas come in. So when creating a ticking area, you don't actually need the y-axis because ticking areas render chunks, and chunks go all the way from the world border up there, which there is none, to the... Actually, no, chunks go all the way up to max build height, and then to the bottom of the world. And the reason why that is because if it goes any higher, there's no point because it's not loading anything above the build limit. So anyway, so there is no need for the Y position. So if I go ahead and grab this point and do slash ticking area add, we're going to add a new ticking area. Now we can do circle, and what a circle is it renders a circle of chunks from the center point, and depending on the radius you give it. So we're just going to do the normal fill one. So 24, remember the y-axis is not needed, so I could just type 0 if I wanted to. Negative 33. And then we come over here and type in 35, 0, negative 29. And then we go ahead and say ticking area. And what this will do is, oh wait, ticking area with the name. Okay, wait. I made a ticking area and I forgot to delete it. So I'm just gonna name it ticking area 2. So what this will do is load all of the chunks inside of this area. Now that doesn't mean all of these blocks specifically up to this point. No, it's all of the blocks that are in the chunks of these 2 points, which could be, this is the start of a chunk, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you get the point. But it basically will render all the chunks in between these 2 points. Now, if I didn't have the game rule send command block or command feedback off, it would show you the ticking areas. So now, if I had a command block in this, it's going to constantly be loaded without me having to be here. And there's other things like slash ticking area remove. We can go ahead and remove a specific one, or there's a cool little command here, remove all. And I'm just going to do that because we don't need ticking areas here. Okay, I'm sorry for going so fast. If you guys didn't understand that, I'll explain it right now. Basically, a ticking area loads unloaded chunks. The reason why I'm going so fast, guys, is just because this video is going to be long otherwise. Anyway, next thing I'm going to move on. It is DY, I actually previously typed this, DX, DY, and DZ. Now, what these commands do, or what this is an argument. It's actually one of the square bracket things. So if I did @p, it's inside those square brackets, dx, dy, comma dy, comma dz. So it's a new argument that I'm going to teach you. So what it does is, to put it simply, is it selects a player within the cube that you select. So instead of the radius command, what the radius command is, it makes a circle. And I know circles aren't in Minecraft, but still, it makes a circle. So radius command, let's pretend we have our command block right here. Let's grab something to symbolize our command block. And let's say we're using the radius command. The radius command would grab anything within a circle. So anything within this circle, as you can see. But the DX, DY, and DZ command will grab anything in the 2 points that you give it. So it's kind of like the cloning command, it will select anything in it. So if I did these 2 positions, it would select anything inside of this box. And this can come in hand a lot. I mean like a whole bunch. I use it all the time. I use it over the radius command, actually. I bet this command is going to be something you use more than the radius command. But it would select anybody inside of this box. I don't know why I built that all the way out, but you get the point. It will select everybody inside of that box. And the box is specified with both the arguments x, y, and z and dx, y, and z. Now you don't need x, y, and z arguments. That's if you want to set its position. Okay, let's get into the dx, y, and z. Okay, so basically the dx and y and z coordinates are a selection of a square instead of a circle. Now, the way you use this is to select people that are within a square. Now, this can be like a portal, and if you wanted to select everybody at the top of the portal, but not at the bottom and everything, you'd use these coordinates. So, if we go ahead and set this to a repeat command block, I want to teleport anybody that's on top of this to the side, just off of it. So let's go ahead and do that. The way we're going to do that is using the dx, dy, and dz coordinates. If we open this command block, type in our TP command, we're going to TP all the players that are in the box that we, or the selected box that we type. So we're going to TP all the players that are on top of it. And the way we're going to do that is by doing, well, dy equals 1, right? Well, remember, this uses relative coordinates. Now, if I tell you it's executing at this command block's position, what dy does is it goes off of this position 1, or however many blocks you tell it. So basically, anybody within these 2 blocks would be chosen because dy is equal to +1 of this position. So if I did dy, or dy equals 2, it would select anybody within these blocks because it goes from this position +1 and 2. So anybody within this. So that's correct. It would select anybody up above it. And nobody can go inside of the command block, so it doesn't matter. So we got our chosen player, and we're going to go ahead and TP them to -2, or 1, 2. Okay, so now if we jump on this, it will teleport us. And it's not a radius command, so it's not whoever gets close. We're using our dimensions. It's very helpful. Now, let's say you wanted it not to execute at the command block, and you don't want to use the execute command. That is possible. So if I go ahead and make a quick portal, I want it to execute here and teleport me from here to over here. And yes, as you can see, it is giving me the wall run effect because I still have that running. So I want it to teleport me from there to there, but I don't want to move this command block. Well, you can do it simply using the X, Y, and Z coordinates. So I have explained these to you when I was explaining arguments. So X equals, Y equals, and Z equals. So it will execute at those coordinates. So I want it to find the player at 36, 4, -29. So 36, 4, -29. I think that was correct. Let's check. Good. So now it will execute the command here. Now that's the starting point. You got to think of it as that. That's the new starting point. Now I want it to select anybody within these 2 blocks. So we're going to go ahead and do, this isn't necessary, but I'm going to do it. dy equals 1. So now what that's going to do is select anybody at the coordinates that I just gave it up 1. Now the reason why it's not relative, why we don't need this relative symbol, is because it's automatically relative. It's not 2 coordinates given, it's from the relative coordinate. So it's kind of confusing, but basically dx, dy, dz are always in relative. It's not in exact. So now if I walk into this, it will TP me specifically once I go ahead and teleport them. Now I need the position, and we're gonna go ahead and do position 36, 4, -33. So it's just the same thing, 30, 36, 4, and -33, like so. So now if I go ahead and stand here, bam, I get teleported. That's actually quite smooth. Yeah, nice. And there you go. You can make a teleporter out of it. Now, before I confuse you, I know I wasn't explaining the arguments X, Y, and Z, but I will just explain to you. You can do relative with them by doing a relative symbol, X, Y, and Z coordinates. So this would be relative X to the command block, so. Yeah, you can do relative with those, but DX and DY, you cannot. Relative is always activated. It's always going to be relative to that. So I hope that makes you understand DX, DY, and DZ. If not, I'm so sorry. Just contact me on the Discord. Okay, so I've taught you the fill command, the clone command, the Tickingarea command, DX, DY, and DZ. Okay, I guess that's all for this video. So let's head on over to the command block creations center over here, because I have a few command block creations to show you. So right here we have our teleporter. We can make teleporters using the stuff I just showed you. So if we open this command block, it will teleport all the players dy equaling to -3. So it will teleport all the players that are 1, 2, 3 blocks down, or within those blocks, to that position. So basically, this is just the teleporter I showed you. As you can see, the teleporter and the teleport receiver. So this is pretty cool. And it's using the command block up there. So let's head on over here. We have an animation. Yes, with the clone command, you can make a cool little animation. So before I power it, if we open this, what it's going to do is clone relative 1, 2. So basically, it's cloning 1 over here, which is down to this block, and then 2 over, which is over here, which is that block, and up 1 right here, and then it's going to clone it to this. And the reason why I did it like that is because it makes it easy for us to copy all these commands, because they're all the same command. And if you look at the delay in ticks, we gave it a tiny delay in ticks. So if we go ahead and activate this, as you can see, it's an animated spinny thing, as you can see. Yeah, but you can make animations. I hope that's cool. It stops after a little while, sorry. But yeah, so you can make animations out of the stuff I taught. The next one, and for some reason it's missing its sign, I will have to place that, is a generator. I guess it kind of says it. I could just copy that and bam, diamond generator. So it's a generator. You can use the commands I taught you for a generator. Now, this might be confusing, but literally everything in this is basically for it, except for that command. Or these two commands are the only commands that aren't using the commands I showed you. So basically, the way this is working is we have this dispenser down here with a diamond in it. Below it, it's constantly cloning this dispenser up to here. So if I take something out of it, as you can see, it will always respawn. That's why it's doing that. What this command block is doing is teleporting the item that is DX equaling to 1. So basically, it's teleporting the item from here all the way over to this rod. And it's as simple as that. What this is doing is setting the block below it to air. And the reason for that is because this block is set to a redstone block by this command block. And this activates every 60 ticks. So if we go ahead and start this, as you can see, it runs. And the reason why that's being set to a redstone block is because it's activating this and launching out the diamond, which will be teleported right there. And there you go. And you have a diamond generator. Now I have 6 diamonds, and so on and so forth. So that's a cool little diamond generator. You can make it. You can change what's inside of it, so don't feel like you're limited to what I showed. But that's a diamond generator if you guys want to make that in your worlds. I know this video was a very long video, and I started to get tired at the end, and if you couldn't hear it, it was in my voice. Because talking for that long is very tiring. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out the Discord. If you liked the video, hit that like button. And I'll see you guys next week.